Yes?
All right, you ready?
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So we will... Duncan. I'm just announcing. No, I know. So, so it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Alex Kolkowski to the stage. And it's a particular treat today because Alex also records cylinders very, very well. I did a project with him and it was... No, it was fantastic. And so it's really a privilege to kind of do it with a player who has your technical knowledge of the machinery and everything. Is no, well,
behind the horn. Whoa.
Yeah, it's always hard. Yeah. So could you yes? So could you tell us a couple of things about the cylinder, like the recording, where it comes from, and
right. Do you want this? All right. So I'm going to play a piece by Scottish fiddler James Scott Skinner, and it's called "The Weeping Birches of Kilmorack." And it was first published in 1922 and recorded that year on Regal. But it could have well been composed decades before. There's a manuscript of it. It looks like it might have been around sort of 1905, 06. And there is a beautiful little program note that accompanies the 22 edition. It's printed on the manuscript, and it says, "Above the falls of Kilmorack on the river Bewley is the pass called the Drame, whence the river runs through a very deep gorge and most romantic surroundings. The birches growing on the river banks are very fine and are near relations of those further up the river, at Cannich and Glen Affric, so often painted by McWhirter. A traction engine with 2 trucks fell from the road 100 feet into the gorse, causing the death of 2 men. Curiously, most of the birches within 30 yards of the scene of the accident died, and at the time of Scott Skinner's visit, they stood leafless, decaying, and covered with fungi. He suggested that they died from fright and immediately proceeded to put his idea of their emotion into the language of music, hence the Weeping Birches of Kilmorack." And it's played in a very slow, grave manner. And I've tried to imitate as far as I can in my limited means Scott Skinner's interpretation.
So, should we introduce it just...
But also, so first of all, we are going to kindly lent to me by, do you know her name? A student here, sorry. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing, but with a Stroh violin. A violin with an aluminium horn that was used for early recordings. So, but first of all, we're going to do it with a
Do you want to run
wooden
a test?
fiddle. Yes, I think we should do it.
That's fine. I've got a test set up.
And I've seen lots of pictures of violinists recording in the early period, and they have to sort of move and contort like this in order to get as much of the top plate onto the horn. So if I look a little bit twisted, it's because I'm trying to get the sound into the horn. It's not how I normally play. You know?
Right.
Oh, I should take it up. Tell me.
Yeah, yes, I'm ready to.
Are you ready?
Yes. Okay. And.
Oh yes, we've changed instruments, yes.
Well, I think I could do more portamento actually.
Yeah. Super.
Yeah. And how's that? Is the levels what? Duncan.
Well, it could be louder, but then of course we have the we have the other option, and I think that is the
I'll
point.
try and play it louder and see if I.
I think it's okay. And also the between the piano and violin, it's very similar balance like the original.
The original on the record.
Yeah. So basically, I had to listen really, really carefully just to be aware what the person is playing at all. It again is the same like with Zarzuelas, that I'm just playing basically improvised. So my left hand and just something I'm adding in the right, just not to have this on the side, and I'm not playing anything which is written out. So
Again, you know, there are lots of dynamic markings in the score, which just go all out of the window. You know, it's supposed to be played quite quietly and crescendos and very decrescendos. I'm just playing it loud, as loud as possible. So.
So do you want to go for a complete take this time?
I think we could, couldn't we? Unless we completely break down, and then you can smash the cylinder over my head.
No, just shave it off, not the head, the
And we
cylinder.
can just move this microphone a little bit away. It kind of find it a bit intimidating.
Oh, it's carefully placed.
I know.
They have the same job as I have with
sorry.
placing the horn, you know. and you-
It's to do with the bowing.
Oh no, we don't want that sort of breakdown. Bowing.
So are
Sorry,
you
it's an
ready?
aeroplane reference.
You just
Went over their head. Okay. Okay. Do you want that one played back in full at this point?
Yeah.
interesting. What do you think?
It's very forgiving, maybe. No, I mean, there was time when I completely messed up the bowing in several places, but you hardly notice it.
No, yeah.
But yeah.
I think it sounds really good. It's very, very clear. Actually the sound and everything.
But you had to. It's hard work for the violinist to play at that volume in front of the horn. It is hot. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's not no fun. So.
No, it's not. It's really not fun to do it in this style. I think for every instrument.
They earned every penny. That's basically these musicians.
And now something completely different.
Well, we're going to try the.
So Alex had the paper, and we did also some recording using his Stroh Violin, and now we'll do the same thing with his Stroh Violin, which I think for me it was the first time I've seen one in use, not behind a glass door. So ta-da!
This is an instrument from the early 1920s, but it's basically the same as they would have used in the early recordings from 1904, except that the later models had this little monitor horn to make it easier for you to hear yourself playing. But Scott Skinner himself had a Stroh violin and recorded with it, so hence the choice of Scott Skinner. And his Stroh violin is still, it's in a museum. I forget the name of the museum. But there are also, I've seen on YouTube fiddlers, there's one Scots fiddler who actually played on James Scott Skinner's Stroh violin, very beautifully as well. But there you go. So it's at the moment, I think they've taken it apart, and it's about to go on display. I forgot the name of the museum now. But anyway, so there's the reason for it. Although in the 1922 version, it's not sure whether he did play with a Stroh violin. It could be that he used his so-called. They claim he had a Guarnerius violin. I suspect he may have actually. Yeah. Now we've got to maybe have to do a bit of repositioning here, because I'd quite like to be right in front of it.
Yeah.
But that might be impossible because. All right. Well, I'll move my music stand and obscure the microphone.
You'll be in trouble.
So we're going to do another test, are we?
Yes.
Expert?
Yeah.
Mr. Expert?
If you get fairly close coupled between the two horns, you can probably overload the thing. Have you? Well, you've done it with these things a few times. There.
Can you give me an A? Also had to tune down a semitone for this piano, so it sounds a bit odd for me. But.
So let me know when you're ready for a test.
Okay. This tune many times.
You can see a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
In the
More
modulation.
modulation,
Yeah. It's difficult. It's a little more difficult with violin than voice because it's Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. This is the first test. And this is what we've done with the Stroh.
And I'm playing with less force as well. Incredibly fast vibrato. Yeah, but you can see the reason why they would have adopted these instruments. It's so directional. You aim the sound into the horn, but they're very effective.
And
They
you're also not masking the piano
Yeah.
lid so
Yes,
much, so
yeah.
it's probably benefiting
Yes,
that as well.
That is true. Super. Should we have a take?
I think so, yeah. Try and play in tune this time.
Like in tune or the tune, or both.
Just give me a moment.
Don't like that one.
You okay in here?
Yeah.
Always have to check. Don't do it often, but there we go.
Shave immediately.
Wait, let me just. So what would you like to do? So what's the difference? Like, so you said that you don't need to play that like that loudly, yeah?
Well,
with this one, so you can preserve your strength.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the problem. The one thing about playing this violin is that it because you hear it from you kind of distance from the sound, so intonation can be a problem. And also, especially if you've got a very loud background. Not that in this case. I mean, I'm just thinking about a couple of days.
What do you mean?
If you've got very very loud. If you've got a piano thumping behind you, you can't hear yourself play.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is also a very heavy instrument, so it's quite awkward. So, but I mean that's okay in the recording studios when you only have to sort of play for a couple of minutes or 3 minutes at the most. That's fine. Anything over that, it gets very very tiresome. It's actually at least 3 times heavier than a conventional violin.
Okay.
But they have measured that it's also 3 times louder. In the central axis, it's 3 times. They've measured that's how powerful it is, which is why.
So you could employ one violinist, somebody to hold the violin up, and still be quids in because it will only cost you 2/3 of it. In fact, you don't need to pay a skilled person. Unskilled violin supporter.
I was thinking of having some kind of stick.
Yeah. To rest. Would you like to do this again, or would like to do the other one? What would you?
Well, I mean, these aren't going to be preserved, are they? Or are they? What do you think?
I think that we could do this once again.
Yeah, I mean, I could try it this time a little bit more relaxed because I'm still very tense.
So what I think that what happened with both of us is that, so when you hear the original, we were talking about this earlier, there is absolutely no sense of meter. It's so free that you really, like, I was like, wait, one, and I was trying to count like I'm a beginner, so that was really hard for me, yeah? And when we rehearsed, we had that kind of flexibility in a way that we were like super relaxed, and something happens in your mind that the moment you are, we went a little bit too like we had a beat, and we shouldn't have a beat. It should be like completely,
Okay. Let's try it again a little bit more with more freedom.
You're super flexible.
That performance really got the essence of Dead Tree.
Thank you.
You're always so kind to me. Thank you.
I'll strangle you. You won't survive the rest of this session.
Tumbling traction engine.
I have to say that years ago, being interested in traction engines for a little while and reading a book about them and going, but you didn't tell me whether it was a Fowler or an Aveling and Porter. Or it could have been a Ransom, Sims and Jeffries. So there you go. Yes, I don't know if there is a companion piece about a disconsolate traction engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall I do my test? Yeah, plenty of room.
super, super.
That was a bit.
Yes,
That
yeah,
was
and
more
it
like
felt,
it, yeah.
it felt better, yeah. It's something strange, like I recorded...
I needed a dram, really.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Oh, it's...
It's a little bit intimidating playing in front of Scots here. Looking with the beady eyes.
I think your shiver will be busy this evening.
Big difference.
It was really good. Yeah. I love this. Yeah. So, do we have time to do the other piece?
Yeah, I mean,
You've got
what time is
10
it?
minutes.
We have 10 minutes.
We could.
45.
Okay, Duncan, we need to tell you something.
No, I've been discreetly informed about the time challenge.
Yes. Okay.
But that's
So,
all right.
I
It's
will-
okay.
I will tell you. So we did a recording of this, the next piece, the Serenade on disc, and I couldn't sleep because I have a slip in that disc because somebody was passing me, and then I slipped and I didn't record it well. And I said, "Oh, can we do it on a cylinder so I can have my soul, like soul back?" So we are going to do the Serenade by Pierre.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we prepared that for disc, and obviously this 10-inch disc is 10 minutes, and this is 2 minutes. And then we sped it up, and in the rehearsal, even if we were super speedy, like comparing to the disc, it was still 2 minutes 25. And now we asked Duncan, so this is a common thing, that we ask, please could you put it on less speed, so we can fit 2 minutes 25.
Well, let's see. Somebody needs to do some mathematics for us.
Okay. Yeah. So we will. Could we do that? And I think it's.
We'd risk it at the old 144, but we'd be certain at 120.
Let's do it 120, yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay. Super. Ages ago, we did a lot of research with this. That we would record something on 160, play it back on 120, or other way around, and see what gets influenced and what not. So it's quite interesting to see this. But 2-minute cylinders can actually last 3 minutes, if.
Well, they originally did.
And they did, yeah.
It just went up and up in order to improve the quality.
This piece was actually recorded onto a disc by Charles Dalmain in 1904 using a Stroh violin. So that's why it was chosen. But it has a Spanish flavour. It's sort of faux Spanish. So
120 or
reference to
125,
traditional
what do you
music.
fancy?
No?
Yeah, yeah, it does, it does.
120 or 125? You've done enough of these.
We won't do a test, yeah? We'll just go for it, yeah?
Okay. Going to an arbitrary speed somewhere around 120 because we've got to guess how to set that machine by a rather devious way in a minute. I could do the other trick, but we've had to start counting for 15 seconds. So actually, it's easy at about 120 because it's half a second, isn't it? Right, where are we? No test. Of course, we only need to wind it up the same amount because it's still only going the same distance. It might be running for longer, but it's running slower.
Can you get on with it, Governor?
Governor, that's in the box there. Yeah, okay.
You could have fit it on a 2-minute.
Yeah. This fell into my lap while I was playing. No, really. So it's just I was reading and then it left. Oh,
This should be interesting.
Yeah, well, he got away with 144 after that. But, because usually people don't play it faster than they
There's
expect.
quite a lot of left
Yes,
in
oh
it.
yes, yeah. 144 would have been all right, but not in one gear.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, wait, stop.
So by the time this machine was made, it didn't have an external speed control on it, so you can see if I can get the speed reasonably steady
Because we played it faster than
using the brake.
That's all right.
Not ideal. And we'll have to play higher or lower until you tell me whether the speed is right.
No, it's a bit faster, a bit faster. That's too slow. That's about right. That's about right.
I'll go back to the beginning for you.
She could be a bit faster. Which is... We're using the brake. Yeah, that's it.
Super.
Thank you for indulging us.
Yeah, we shaved off only 5 seconds. This was really interesting.
But you're giving me the recording engineer's compromise, because if I'd have set it at 144 and you played for a bit longer, it would have fallen off the edge.
Okay, yeah.
So I had to play safe. You know.
Yeah.
Or you have to do all of the mathematics. I did a lovely job many years ago with a jazz band, and they'd got an arrangement for something that's a certain length, and they played it through, and I said it's this much too long to fit on the cylinder we're recording live and acoustically. And the chap who does the arrangements as well as played the an instrument, anyway, trumpet I think. But anyway, he got his calculator out and said, "Okay, chap, okay, we're doing that. Okay, we're now doing it at this many beats per minute. Right, we're going to do it at this." And it fit perfectly. He didn't do that for me. He didn't go, "We'll do it at this."
I mean, there was maybe a little bit of loss in fidelity, but not. I mean, it's still registered okay.
Yeah, and of course it's very representative of the period when they were making cylinders, not one at a time. They very seldom made them one at a time, but little groups that was before the Stroh was in. So you saw that picture. You showed a picture yesterday. Yeah. Not everybody was here yesterday. Once they're doing those group recordings, you can only get 3 or possibly 4 horns pointing at a violin and get anything.
When they had multiple machines,
So you'd run 4 copies, 4 machines, make 4 masters, which you'd then duplicate.
I think they would all be electrically powered, electrically driven motors, that they could start at the same time.
Yes, well, no, and also, but the chap, usually what has to happen, although not so bad with that one, when you've got 10 or 15 for a band, you announced into each one while the band was having a rest, and stopped all the machines, and then had a master start switch. So there's some very peculiar noises happen, so you get a different thing going on when they say so-and-so played by the Edison Military Band, and then that stops. And then all of the announcements will be different for the same performance. And then the switch comes on, and there's usually a bit of a whoop as it starts up. And then the switch goes off to turn them off, and it goes whoop at the other end. So there are all sorts of little drop in and out noises, followed by the drop in and out noises of Mrs. What's-her-name's? Mrs. Fraser, yes. Mrs. Fraser's duplicator. Because that has two lots of in and out drops.
Well, thank you, Alex. This was wonderful. Thank you. Well, a big applause.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Super. Thanks. So we have a pleasure to invite Ziaden on the stage. And should I put that text now? Yeah? Okay.
I'll explain what.
Okay, so if you would take this one.
And we're back to 160 while you're talking.
And if you would just introduce like the same, like how we did, like, just set the context and yeah.
Where shall I stand?
Wherever you would like.
Alex, do you
Just a
set your
second.
machine by, I think Paul Morris does this, but do you set it by the tone of the gear
that
noise
okay,
ever?
Yes, I
Maybe
do.
I can,
A lot.
maybe
Yes.
Because I've got kind of relative pitch.
Yeah.
But I bought a cylinder off Liz Tuddenham. So sometimes I
Should I
play
stand back there and,
1,000 hertz
and
Yeah.
should I stand back there and do the
test
computer?
Yeah.
That's the quickest way.
I can do that.
But you can tell if it's wrong just because of the gear
Okay,
noise.
so
changes.
But it does
okay,
whine,
super.
and
So
you get familiar with the sound.
Yeah.
I will. You tell me when you want the next part. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah. Okay, super.
I have to stay on this side because the reason I was having trouble earlier on was because I put light straight at it and the dot doesn't work.
Get rid of this stuff.
Right, so that's back at
Just a second. Yeah.
Start talking? Okay, hello. So I'm not researching folk music, unlike most people here. I just sing it, and I've been singing folk all my life, pretty much. I've learned dozens of folk songs from other people, from recordings sometimes, never really early recordings before, and from books like these ones. But this has been a very different experience for me because Inya asked me to learn something from a cylinder, and I'd never even heard actually a wax cylinder of a folk song before. I picked this one because I liked the tune, and I didn't realize how tricky it was going to be to learn it. And I was very happy to find out that actually, after I'd chosen it, so that's a nice tune, I found out it's from Suffolk, and I'm from Suffolk. But then when I kind of went into the learning more about it, it was really interesting. First of all, the first challenge that I had with learning this was just the clarity problem, that I couldn't really hear the words. Also, she had a very different accent. She wasn't a Suffolk singer, the singer on this. But thanks to Martin Carthy, we've got some words. And I've got here from, he made a recording and said this about it. In the 1970s, a cardboard box containing over 100 wax cylinders of music, recorded before the First World War, came to light in Cecil Sharp House. They were in varying states of decrepitude. None was identified. So the educated guessers went to work and they identified a Vaughan Williams recording of Harriet Verrill singing Eggs in Her Basket, whence I learned this. Now, the educated guessers are actually wrong. She was later identified as Priscilla Cooper, and the recording was made by Cecil Sharp, which probably isn't that surprising because it was in Cecil Sharp House. But
Is this okay?
Yeah. Well, that one's for the next thing, actually. We just need this one on the left.
Uh-huh.
We'll stick with the words for now of the lyrics
Okay, sorry.
on the page.
I don't know why it's no, it's time.
So Martin Carthy did a recording And he worked out the words, more or less. He sang it the way that she sang it. And I've now got to take my hat off to him because I found it really difficult to do the same. At first I thought I was going to learn it the way I've learnt every other folk song, just by ear. And after a while I thought, I've got to try and write this down because this must be the most complex folk song I've ever come across. Because look at that structure. It's sort of 4 lines, 4 lines, 6 lines, 4 lines, 10 lines, 4 lines. And I tried to work out the melody structure, and that threw me as well. And eventually I came to the conclusion that I think she started off all right on the first 2 verses, and then she forgot it. And she kind of carried on anyway. Maybe it was one she hadn't done for a long time. Because in terms of the melody, it starts off as the lines go sort of A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, B, C, C, D, C, B, C, D for a while. And she completely forgets the A melody. It never comes back. The rhyme also completely goes out of the window. But the thing is, she remembers the story, which was the most important thing. She does keep telling the story, even if it's not really sort of got the structure anymore. And so I've kind of taken some... I'm feeling justified in what I've done with this. If you look at, on the next page, this is Cecil Sharp's manuscript of this recording. And you can see he wrote the title, he wrote her name and the place and the date. And then he put down his pen and thought, I'll do that later. I'll get write the rest down later. And never did write it down. But so I've taken from, this is the Penguin Book of English Folk Songs. There's a quote here from Vaughan Williams and Lloyd. If a forgetful singer omits verses or lines or knows the song only in imperfect form, we do not hesitate to complete the song from other traditional sources. So that's what I've done. And in fact, in that same book, they've got another version of The Basket of Eggs. And I have taken some of the lines from that to kind of make a bit more sense of Priscilla Cooper's version. And also because, here's another quote from Vaughan Williams about the oral tradition. One man sings to several more. They sing again their versions to others. These versions would probably vary considerably, as the artistic instinct of the singer suggested. The more I see of folk song, the more important I believe the impress of the individual to be. So I've kept as far as possible to Priscilla Cooper's version. I've put in a couple of lines and I've reinstated the rhyme, I've reinstated the A melody line and the 4-verse structure, except at the end there's 4-line verse structure. And then I kind of made it my own, because then it's not a museum piece, it's re-entering the repertoire of folk singing. So I will probably go and sing it now in one of these pubs where Vaughan Williams and Butterworth collected songs in Southwold here, where they've been doing it ever since. They never stopped. So yeah, second Thursday of the month in Southwold, if anyone wants to go along to sing along. And yeah, that would be wonderful. I have done a field recording actually in one of the pubs that I should share with you, with modern equipment, I'm afraid. And also, I'm just going to say as well that in British folk music traditionally, singing is done unaccompanied. There might be other singers as well, but it's not usually accompanied by instruments. And so I'm going to sing it like that. And also, Priscilla Cooper ran off the end of it. So I'm just going to also run off the end. I'll just sing it until we get to the end. Although if you want to hear the end of the story, then I'll just finish singing after it's stopped, if you like. Yeah? How about we go back to the original, the first page, so you can see what I've changed. Okay. Shall I put that there?
Breathing the honey of neck. Yeah.
Got the words in case I forget. I think I can remember it.
Space for Tess.
Yeah.
I know, don't that should be here because it's going to, we need the whole thing.
Yeah, that's probably a good key. That's exciting. I've not done this before.
All right, we're going to do a test first, aren't we?
Okay.
So you can get the feel of it all. If that's all right with you.
I feel like I shouldn't have the words, because if I forget it, that would be more
That would be,
authentic.
yeah, that would be more authentic.
I'll have to carry on. Right? Unlike, I don't know if you've all heard the cylinder of Robert Browning reciting one of his poems. It's my favourite, because he gets a few verses and then there's a pause and he goes, "I'm terribly sorry, I've forgotten my own poem." And then talks about how excited he is about this new technology.
He was, okay, so...
How close should I?
Well, no, do something and I'll give you an idea.
I don't want to blast it.
No, just do something now without me running, because I need to listen.
Okay. Oh, it's off to sailors, both set out walking, with their pockets abeam, both lined with gold.
I would think you want to be about there.
Okay.
And you'll be able to feel some stuff coming back to you from... Oh, let's see if I can get that so that's comfortable for you to be
So I
facing
can look
straight
up.
into. Try that, and if it goes over the top, we'll know to go back. Yeah, we'll be able to adjust it. That's the reason for doing a test. Obviously. Okay.
Oh, it's off to sailors, both set out walking, with their pockets abeam, both lined with gold, as they were a-walking and civilly talking. Some fair pretty damsel they do behold.
Okay, that'll do to give us an idea.
You can watch other people doing it, and then you hear yourself and go, wow. That's amazing.
You can allow yourself to be a little bit closer, I think.
Okay.
It won't overload from that point of view, and I don't think I'm assuming that the narrative version of things is that everything's going to be in that sort of range, is not.
Yeah, pretty much.
You haven't got a. Yeah. It doesn't. Yes, that'll be fine. But just try a little bit closer while we're at it. That's good.
How's that?
Or maybe the other thing I was spotting is that you're singing up into the room, and actually, although without
Singing to the audience.
Yeah,
I need to sing to
to
the
the phonograph, which is pointing that way. But it wasn't much different. But you might have been
Okay.
singing over the top of it a bit. So both of those.
So we're doing another test.
Yes, please.
As they were... I've forgotten the
There
words.
you go. Well, that's
They
good.
went on boldly until the halfway house. There they did call for a pint of wine. And its landlord, oh landlord, bring us some bacon. For in this basket we've eggs to fry. Skipped a verse, isn't it? It does kind of throw you. You know, you might think you know something and then you get up here and feel scrambled. Got sympathy for Browning.
As they were, forgotten the words. They went on boldly until the halfway house. There they did call for a pint of wine. And its landlord, oh landlord, bring us some bacon.
okay? Yeah.
No, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I have to, bow to superior knowledge with the people over the front there, but that sound, just that little bit closer, I think, it makes it a bit fuller, and it's more comfortable listening, I think, from that point of view.
Just got to get my nose in there.
Yeah,
Then we'll not miss anything.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll put a whole one on, and then you're just going to carry on regardless if I run out of me running out of cylinder, are you? That's all right.
Yeah.
And regardless of running out of words.
Hopefully I'll remember the words.
But not run out of spring, otherwise that will be... That's all right. Okay. So you have to check every time that the cylinder's on tight. So you'll have had the ones, Will and other people who've done that drifted. We're trying not to do that today. We haven't done it yet. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's off to sailors, both set out a-walking, with their pockets a-being both lined with gold. As they were a-walking and civilly talking, some fair pretty damsel they do behold. Says one of those young men, should I carry your basket? Oh, there's eggs in that basket, oh, do take care. And if you should chance to outwalk me at the halfway house, you'll find me later there. They went on boldly until the halfway house. There they did call for a pint of wine, and it's landlord, oh landlord, bring us some bacon, for in this basket we've eggs to fry. So then the landlord went unto the basket, a-thinking there's some eggs to find. Oh, say, young man, ain't you mistaken? For in this basket we've got a child. Up steps this young Nancy, oh dearest Nancy, that is taken to bed on last Easter day. We got this young child since I take your fancy, so now the gay filler you got to pay. That child's not ours, lovely Nancy. He's no babe of mine, nor my friends besides. His 50 gold I'll give anybody, if she'll take care of this little child. Oh, I will take it, I'll kindly treat it, if you will say all my money's paid. Oh, that young man went up to the basket, he's kicked it around and around the floor. Oh, since it is done, I will surely pay it, but damn me if I do eat eggs anymore.
A song now destroyed by the discovery and use of DNA.
I'm amazed we got so far in it. That's good. I think I got to about the same place as her, possibly.
Super.
Oh, it's off to sailors, both set out a-walking, with their pockets a-being both lined with gold. As they were a-walking and civilly talking, boldly until the halfway house. There they did call for a pint of wine, and it's landlord, oh landlord, bring us some bacon, for in this basket we've eggs to fry. So then the landlord went into the basket, thinking there to make the fine. I say, young man, ain't you mistaken? For in this basket we've got a sign. Upset this young Nancy, oh dearest Nancy, that he's taken to bed on last Easter day. We got this young child since I take your fancy, so now the gay filler you've got to pay. That child's not ours, lovely Nancy, he's no babe of mine, nor my friend besides. It's 50 gold I'll give anybody if she'll take care of this little child. Oh, I will take it, I'll kindly take it, if you will say my money's paid. Oh, that young man went up to the basket.
Characteristic sign of it falling off the end.
Wow. That's quite emotional because I've heard Priscilla's recording so many times. And then hearing me sounding kind of like her. I mean, she sings it in a lower key, I think, and it's
We could
just,
slow it down.
Yeah. It's just, it's got that sort of quality of sound. I think it makes you realise that, I mean, I study discs, so I'm used to hearing older records anyway, but I think it kind of makes it clear to you that they were real people, because we hear them as these weird voices that don't quite sound human, and then when you hear yourself sounding a lot like it, you go, oh yeah, they were just like us, and probably she'd have listened back and go, wow, is that what I sound like? And yeah, it's got quite a haunting quality, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It's very romantic in a way, like to have that. I think it's because also the sounds of the machine, everything is just the full thing.
I was interested to hear how much, I was sort of playing around with putting characterization in and dynamics and so on, and it could pick it up. When I got quieter it did get faint, but it was still clear.
Yeah. And did you change anything particular, like in the way you were singing? And
I think I was trying to be aware of not moving around too much, which usually I'd want to act it out. And I was thinking of Adelina Patti. Fred Geisberg said that she was used to acting out her parts, and she found it very difficult. I was thinking of like Lena Lamont in Singing in the Rain. She was doing this all the time, and she had to sing into the horn. So I was trying to remember to sing into the horn and not wave about. That was kind of difficult, but otherwise, it was kind of what I usually do with it.
Okay.
Because if you're singing in like a pub or something, you're wanting to be heard by lots of people, so you sing it out. But people listen, and so you can put some characterization and go quiet in places and so on. But
nice.
It was interesting to hear how clear it came out.
Yeah, it is. And if you want to compare it, if you would like to compare it to the original cylinder, okay, you said the singer sang it in a lower key, and what are your thoughts on that? Like, because it's very similar technology we have here. What did they use for that? So.
Yeah, I mean, I just sort of sang it in a key that felt right. I don't know what key that was that I was singing just now. I just sort of started and that felt okay, so I did it.
Okay,
That's kind of the folk way of doing it.
Yes.
See, I noticed, I mean, standing here, when you dipped into chest voice, it felt like a step change. And yet in playback, it sounded entirely natural and entirely part of the phrase structure. And part of the surrounding timbre. It was entirely a part of it, and it didn't sound as marked as it did standing by. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, in her version, she sings it lower and she uses chest a lot and is kind of changing registers, but it sounds very smooth.
Yeah.
And I wonder now, if in real life, in person, it wouldn't have sounded quite as smooth. I thought, oh, she's very good at that. but it might have been kind of a bit more noticeable in person. Yeah.
Should we go on the second song? So
yes, because
some time. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Super.
Right. So the next song
is this. How did I?
You've got to join in. So I said, do I need the microphone again? With this. Oh, there we go. Right.
Just for people online.
So as I said, I'm born and raised in Suffolk, but I've got roots in the northwest. So if we go back to the previous page, actually, you can see the reason for that map.
Sorry.
Was to show you. There we go. So Southwold, which is again where these guys went to. From Suffolk, where I am, and we're going all the way diagonally across to Fleetwood now. And the reason I wanted to point that out is because this song, there are lots of variants all around the British Isles, because the herring is the king of the sea. It's a very celebrated fish. But this version of the song is not very well known. In fact, as far as I know, this might be the first recording of it, which would be really cool. And I learnt this from my mum, who's here, and she learnt it circa 1970, she reckons. On the next page, you can see in the Pickering Arms in Thirlwall, from Maggie Goodall, who was the landlady there, and she'd have music nights. And she was a collector of folk songs and folk dances, and she learnt this one from the Fleetwood Fishwives. So it's a working song, it's a cumulative song, and it's a chorus song, so we really need everyone joining in. I've put the words of the chorus up here. I'll do the verses. You can join in with the verses if you want to. We've got to try and do it as fast as we can, because it is probably going to be a bit more than 2 minutes. Well, if we can do it really fast, we can do it in 2 minutes. Okay. And it is meant to speed up as we go.
How long have we got on this session?
So,
yeah, it's okay. So I'm going to do a de-rig. So,
yeah.
Bearing in mind you've set the context for it, what I would like to do is do my recording engineer bit and say, for using the phonograph, I'm going to use this horn pointing that way so you can bring people in off there, and you need to sing, you'll need to do your lead quite close in. Mm-hmm. It will change the character of the whole thing, but we will get more of a sort of in the pub type sound picture. Yeah, which will be fun, if you don't mind me doing that, rather than you having people in the distance and you...
No, exactly. I chose this one because I thought it'd be fun to try out a chorus song and see how it's done. So shall I teach them the song while you're...
Yes. Yeah, I'm just going to rig. I was telling you, so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
It won't take a moment.
So I want you to start off by imagining we're in a pub, and you've got a pint in your hand, and you're feeling nice and relaxed, and we're all singing along. There's a lot of melodeons around for some reason. That's in my experience, there's always a lot of melodeons. I thought that'd be more fun to imagine than, hands deep in fish guts, which is kind of the traditional way of singing this song. So the verse is, I'll sing you the first verse so you can hear your cue. Goes, what'll I do with me herring's head? What'll I do with me herring's head? Make it into loaves of bread, herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. And then you come in with, of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-la-oh. So, let's break it down. I'll put this down here. I got it. This is the working song. It's amazing.
One line at a time.
Yeah. So, of all the fish that live in the sea, of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. The herring is the one for me. That's it. Fa-la-la-la. 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 Fa-la-la-la-la-la-oh.
for me. Fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la la la, Let's try it again. And remember, we've got 2 minutes. So I was going to be a bit faster than that. So I'll give you the cue in the last line. Is and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. La 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. You've got it. That's really good.
It's like we are musicians.
Now we need to arrange people so that it'll work as a choir, which we know is difficult. We've lost the choir expert. He's left the room. What have you done with Simon? He's run away.
He said he wouldn't sing.
I don't want him to sing. I want him to be choir master. I don't want him to sing. He disappeared. I want him to remind me where we put people when we were doing the choir job. However, I'll do my best. We could do with some lower register people to come down on this side.
Okay.
Who else have we got? You don't have to. Yeah. and the higher register people to come down on this side.
Come on.
Yeah, so we need to be. We need to be in a sort of tone that's described by this horn. Right? And we're going to be on either side of you, so you're working straight into there. You might want to back up to allow everybody to do the chorus, so we can lean in a bit. Yeah. Or you might need to take 2 steps back so everybody can lean in a bit.
Right.
Yeah. Now we're going to do a test. So we'll need everybody so that you need to be in these lines. So on a line here, and a line here, that's it. And with you sort of facing the horn, that's it. Then you come in here. You're far too far out. Okay. We should put you slightly further back because you're taller. Okay. And louder. Come in there. And you need to come in here because right here. And on this side. Okay. On this side, the same sort of line, please. Here. A line here to match that line there. We're trying to make a sort of triangle here. And we can have a few people over the back behind you. Excellent.
So the bass.
Huh? Oh dear. It's all right.
Yeah. So let's start singing outside. He's sitting outside. He's not.
I think he probably heard us singing. That's what we. Okay.
Mum, come in.
Can we repeat it once more?
We need you because you know the song. You need to help everyone else.
Oh yes. Right. So we're in position, so then we can see what we're getting, and then I'll do a test.
Is this close enough?
Yeah.
Do I need to bend?
Yeah, probably a little bit
bit.
if that'll work. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, you're going to lead us into the chorus, or?
Oh yeah. You're not doing
chorus.
Okay.
You know.
Is this a test? Yeah. Shall I do the first verse because that's a short.
Yes, do the first verse. That'll get us the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
What'll I do with me herring's head? What'll I do with me herring's head? Make it into loaves of bread, herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la la la, la yo. Yeah.
So that's what. Right. So we'll do that as a test. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get the back row behind you in a bit closer, singing over the top of you. Yes. You're going to have to do a bit of choreography. Closer to you. If you're here, you can be. So yeah, be right about there. Just keep the level up because this round's not
Right.
What is doing there?
Right. You go up. We need a choir master.
Just raise your. You be choir master. Just raise your hand when you.
Yeah.
Oh, wave.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you when to start, but it's yeah. Anyway, okay.
What'll I do with me herring's head? What'll I do with me herring's head? Make it into loaves of bread, herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la la la, la yo.
Let's see if that's worked. We've got 2 ways of doing that. And actually, probably the reproducer one works quicker for me.
Well, we should have. This is the new band, is it? This is the new. Let's go on tour. All the pubs in Guildford.
Choir can still be closer and louder.
Closer and louder. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're just going to try it now, do the whole thing.
Yeah.
With the bush.
They play. Yeah, they go from the pubs.
Fantastic.
I think that's needed. I think it's being used.
I'm just afraid I'm going to kick it. Sorry. Is it all right there? I'm just afraid I was going to kick it.
I just moved it a little bit.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's
my
okay.
fault.
It's fine.
I thought I was.
Is this one of these ones where you can go, there are this many verses, and when you see it nearly running out, you just don't do the next verse?
I suppose so, yeah.
And do you do a repeat chorus at the end?
No,
That's
it
all right
gets
then.
longer and longer though. That's each one. But I'll do it as fast as I can. If I can remember them all, that's going to be... I'll have to do the actions to remind myself. Okay. There's a lot of things to...
Are you ready?
What'll I do with me herring's head? What'll I do with me herring's head? Make it into loaves of bread, herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi-la-hi-oh. What'll I do with me herring's eyes? What'll I do with me herring's eyes? Make him into puddings and pies, herring's eyes, puddings and pies, herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi-la-hi-oh. What'll I do with me herring's fins? What'll I do with me herring's fins? Make him into needles and pins, herring's fins, needles and pins, herring's eyes, puddings and pies, herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi-la-hi-oh. What'll I do with me herring's back? What'll I do with me herring's back? Make it a laddie and call him Jack. Herring's back, laddie called Jack. Herring's fins, needles and pins, herring's eyes, puddings and pies, herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi-la-hi-oh. What'll I do with me herring's belly? What'll I do with me herring's belly? Make it a lassie and call her Nelly. Herring's belly, lassie called Nelly. Herring's back, laddie called Jack. Herring's eyes, pigs and pies. Herring's fins, needles and pins. Herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi-la-hi-oh. What'll I do with me herring's tail? What'll I do with me herring's tail? Make it into jugs of ale. Herring's tail, jugs of ale. Herring's belly, lassie called Nelly. Herring's back, laddie called Jack. Herring's fins, needles and pins. Herring's eyes, puddings and pies. Herring's head, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi, fa-la-la-la-hi-la-hi-oh. Messed up a bit.
So much fun. Yeah, it's great. Super fun. Yeah.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. Of course, you do use part of a fish's belly to make beer.
Yes.
Because it's the finings that drop the yeast out. Particular type of
Yeah, it's the tail in this one that gets used.
Oh, right.
The
Oh,
tail
right.
of
Okay.
John's
Yeah.
tail, 'cause it rhymes.
Basically, we're setting all this off, or what are we going to do?
Herring back, pudding the pies, herring tail, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. And all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one to me. Fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-la-yo. What'll I do with me herring spins? What'll I do with me herring spins? Make them into needles and pins, herring spins, needles and pins, herring back, puddings and pies, herring tail, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. And all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-la-yo. What'll I do with me herring's back? What'll I do with me herring's back? Make it a Larry and Call and Jack. Herring's back, Larry call Jack. Herring spins, needles and pins, herring bags, puddings and pies, herring tail, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. And all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-yo. What'll I do with me herring's belly? What'll I do with me herring's belly? Make it a lassie and call and Nelly. Herring's belly, lassie call belly, herring's back, Larry call Jack. Herring bags, fish and pies, herring spins, needles and pins, herring tail, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-yo. What'll I do with me herring's tail? What'll I do with me herring's tail? Make it into jugs of ale. Herring's tail, jugs of ale. Herring's belly, lassical belly. Herring's back, radical jack. Herring spins, needles and pins. Herring bags, puddings of pies. Herring tail, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. Of all the fish that live in the sea, the herring is the one for me. Fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-yo.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. This was such a fantastic opportunity. Yeah. Thank you. A big enthusiasm once again. This is such a wonderful way to end this workshop session. Thank you so much. We had so much fun. Great. Brilliant. We'll have a half an hour break if that's okay, and then we'll just slowly finish. I'm going to go and print.